As we've been moving through our series on how to interpret biblical passages, we've been hitting on a couple key passages throughout. Obviously, there's a ton in Scripture, but we've started with Genesis 1 and 2, and looking at how knowledge of who the author and the original audience is can inform our understanding of what these passages are really saying. What can we expect from them and what can we not? In Genesis 1 and 2, the primary thing that we are told is that the personal God of the Jews is also the creator God of the universe. Now, in a society, in a culture, in a world where many gods are worshipped, the unique aspect of the Jews is that they have one God, and that this God is not only their Redeemer, not only their personal God, but He is also the Creator God. He is a one-stop God shop. That comes to light in Genesis 2:4, as we've already talked about, where Moses clues the reader in that Yahweh, the personal God of the Jews, is the Creator God. And you only see that feature in the Hebrew. But what's significant about that is that the name of God is only revealed in Exodus 3. So its inclusion in earlier events as chronicled by Moses is significant in that it tells us the God who has revealed himself to us in a very personal way has also done these things. So that's where we've come from. We've also learned that man and women are made in the image and likeness of God. That includes Jews, of course, but also the enemies of the Jews. For instance, the Egyptians, the people they've just left, the people that were so cruel to them at that time, and who they may be tempted to hate. Moses is saying they are also image bearers. So no matter how you feel about them, they have dignity, they have worth. Not only that, but all things are created good. So of course there's a natural question right after that. If you know that we're made in the image of God, and you know that all things God has created are good, then why is there so much pain? Why is so much bad stuff out there? And that's a question that we continue to ask today. Well, Genesis 3 gives us our answer. You see, because God has taken the time to relate to His creation. He has laid the groundwork for appropriate relationship with Him. That's His prerogative. He gets to do that. We don't, as the creation, get to tell the Creator His business. He tells us. But in effect, in Genesis 3, we decide to go against that. Adam and Eve both transgress against the laws that God has laid down for appropriate relationship with Him. Now, there's two things that come out of that. One is God has promised that death is the result of disobedience. So God must act. But His favored creation, those made in His image and likeness, He takes no delight in killing. So what does He do? He kills animals and clothes Adam and Eve in their death. That's huge. What He does is He says, the death of these animals I will see instead of your death. And then we can continue to relate. He acts to redeem their disobedience. That's a pattern that we see over and over and over. God's action. Even think about Adam and Eve's creation. What did Adam and Eve do to deserve being created? Absolutely nothing. Creation and redemption are works of God. Genesis 1, 2, and 3 all speak to that. The other thing that is incredibly significant is God gives a promise in Genesis 3:15. He says to the serpent, the seed of the woman will strike your head and you will strike his heel. In essence, He's saying that the seed of the woman is going to stomp on your head, just as Adam should have done when you came into the garden. And just as he didn't, there will be one who comes of the woman who will do that. That's a promise. That's a promise that God continues to uphold. He refines that promise. He expands it. He adapts it. But that promise is always there. And that is the focus of these first 5 books. And what Genesis does, the whole book, is it actually follows that promise up through Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, to Joseph. And it brings the Jews to Egypt. so that when the events of the Exodus occur and this identity of the people of Israel has almost been lost, God steps in to say, no, 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 wait. Don't you forget my promise. My promise is living and active. I have acted to create a land and a people for myself. You have disobeyed that. And so I have acted to clothe you in the death of someone else, something else, so that you may continue to relate to me until you can receive the promise that I will make all things good, that there will be one who crushes the head of the serpent, like Adam was supposed to. So this promise has been given, and that is the focus of this text. God doesn't want to leave us in the midst of our sin and our hurt and our pain. That's not his desire. And ultimately, we bear the responsibility for that.